Okay, we are all set. Did everyone get the notification that it was live streaming? Oh, perfect. It looked a little different on my end. All right, well, it being June 26th at 11 a.m., I will call the Greater Boroughs meeting to order. I'll just do a quick roll call. So Boylston.
Anne Marie Muckenstrom.
Okay, Southborough.
Chelsea Malinowski.
Westborough.
Ray Gothier.
All right, and Jen just joined, and Northborough Isabella. So let me just wait for Jen.
Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Hi, Jen. Perfect timing. I'm sorry you had meetings all morning. All right, so the first thing on our agenda item, which really the only thing we'll be talking about, is the Public Health Excellence Grant. Just IT. So basically the status of the IMA, we successfully, every single board has signed it. So I'm going to pick up the paper from Jen tomorrow. I will scan that in, send it to everyone. Also send it to OLRH and Rich at MHAB or whatever that acronym is. So that will be all set, and we'll have an official, accurate, current IMA. So thank you all. I know that's been a long time in the process, and it's hard to get all of these committees on board and in the same place at the same time. So that is all set. So thank you, thank you. The FY25 budget. I guess I'll start with the work plan. Did anyone have any comments after I had sent that out? Any other ideas or suggestions to change the work plan? No. Okay, and then so the FY25 budget. So I'm going to share my screen. It is going to look different than the one I shared 2 weeks ago for two main reasons. The first being, as Chelsea had noted, we severely underestimated the fringe benefit. So you'll see that that has significantly changed. And then we can talk through the inspection line item. So can everyone see my screen? Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. So we'll go over the first categories, which are program staff. So as you can see, I did reduce the shared service coordinator to part-time. After consulting with the state, they had agreed that 4 towns, it was significant to have a part-time shared service coordinator staff. So that is highlighted here. That being said, if we can hire someone that has training and interest in the part-time EPI position, like I did, we can make that one full-time position. So they would be eligible for benefits. That would be up to, the people we interview and if there's interest in that position. The health agent, we, after talking to you all last time we met and to meet Westborough's needs for inspections, my thought process, we don't have enough funds to add a position. However, because Northborough and Southborough are hoping to share a town-funded RS position, that relieves some of Michael's time, about 8 hours, to be in Westborough. So that will make Michael's position fully shared between the 4 towns, which is reflected in this budget. And then that RS position that's shared between Northborough and Southborough will be doing things that Michael had been doing to give him more time in Westborough or any time in Westborough. The specific logistics, we can figure that out, whether it be a full day in Westborough once a week, or, different segments of time or as needed. We'll figure that out as we go. But that was one kind of solution with the budget that we have. How does that sound?
That's great. I mean, my only concern was that, we had somebody so that fulfills our needs. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right. So then the nursing line item, that will be for the full-time nurse, which will be shared between the 4 towns. The epidemiologist, as I said, will be part-time. And then I did increase the other public health staff up to 5,000 to meet last year's budget, and this will serve as another backup for any health inspection. So if Michael's super busy one week, or we really need some sort of inspection, everyone's on vacation, we still have that backup in our budget. As you can see, this very, very high fringe benefit and payroll tax line item, I don't expect it to be this much, but this could be as high as it gets if all 3 full-time staff take a family benefit plan. So, you know, as we'll talk about once we start hiring staff, because there are so many unknowns at this point, we can have a, you know, plan B, plan C to understand where we want to use those funds. So we're not in a similar situation to this year where we have just gobs of money to spend. One suggestion that I had listed in the budget would be the hoarding contract, because I did have to remove that to allocate the fringe benefits. So we can think of, you know, bigger contracts, something like that. As we hire the 3 staff.
Isabella?
Yeah.
2 questions.
Mhm.
One on the $15,000 for the nurse out of the Northborough Board of Health budget.
Mhm.
Is that what you've been spending all along for nursing? Or is
No,
that
so we actually swapped that. So before we were paying like 15K out of the health agent line item, but now that it's fully shared,
okay?
just to get, because we're one of the only towns that doesn't have a nurse line item in our town budget, it was just to make sure that we have some buy-in
Okay.
moving forward as well. So we'll just be paying part of that money out of our Board of Health.
Okay. And my second question is, it's more of a comment, is we're at June 26th. So I think we need to, as soon as we have these employees hired, the 3 of them, or the 2 plus the 2 part-timers, that we figure out what that amount from July 1 until they're hired is, and
Yep.
factor that into any difference with the fringe and payroll tax, and have a plan like by December on what we're going to do, because there obviously will be a lapse in time from July 1st to hire date.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say I can put that in my calendar. Our close enough meeting to December, we have kind of that backup plan with that total amount. So we have more than half the year to spend the funds. And Lynn from ClearPath, I didn't end up scheduling that meeting with Jen because I had to take it off of this budget, but I'm looking forward to their presentation tomorrow. And she, you know, I've been transparent with her that we don't have the budget right now, but we may in, you know, a couple months if that's what we want to do. That obviously would need to be approved by OLRH, but they have seemed to be excited about the idea that we're working on hoarding, but also increasing capacity within our local health departments. So that training piece is critical.
Great.
Any other questions about the staff? So I guess the other big thing, as I scroll down, so I did remove the Salmon VNA nursing contract, and I did get approval from Hillary Johnson, who manages the contact tracing grant. So that Salmon VNA contract is allowable and will be moved over to that grant, and that grant is active for 2 more years. The only thing I'm trying to figure out, and I just got an email today, is the contact tracing grant cannot be used for any vaccine efforts. So we might just have to have a small line item in this grant for, you know, say, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000, probably less than that, just to offset the nursing hours that our staff may do. And I'll work with Salmon just to make sure we charge that separately so I can do it in 2 different accounts. But that's the only service that the contact tracing grant cannot cover, if that makes sense. Okay.
It doesn't make sense, but it makes sense.
I know. And then these line items are fairly standard to what we, you know, continue to have. There's health communication, supplies, membership fees, nursing supplies. You know, these are all fairly low. We were able to spend a lot of that money this year to, you know, get us all the supplies we may ever need. But if that is the case, we can always revise the budget throughout the year. The process is pretty simple, as long as it's not, you know, June. And then this 36,000 is the relevant inspection software. So that did increase. We have 3-year contracts. So that increased from our first contract, and we were able to add pools for each town that have pools, and then also the software for the camp tanning and body art, which was just a very small add-on. So that's the total cost for all of those 4 towns. And that's basically it. Office supplies, phones for, the shared staff, travel. And then this is a new add-on, this facility operations, just in case we need additional furniture for the regional staff. So depending on where that budget kind of comes from, I just added that as a buffer. And then we have training and credentialing, and that is our full budget, fully expended, with obviously this very high fringe benefit and payroll tax. Does anyone have any questions? Comments, concerns? All right. Well, I hope to never look at this again, but I know I will. So the state, I had to send this 2 weeks ago. So I sent this one that I'm sharing. They're supposed to send me feedback by the 28th. And then there was like a week period if we wanted to revise or if they had any comments. So I'll definitely reach back out. Hopefully they don't have any significant comments or changes, but I'll definitely keep everyone updated. But, really like July 20th, we could revise this budget. They just really need a working budget that we all approve, and then we can move forward.
So do you want a motion to vote it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I move that the Greater Boroughs accept the FY25 budget as presented.
I second.
All those in favor? Boylston? Can you just unmute?
Aye.
Southborough?
Aye.
Westborough?
Sullivan, I.
Northborough? Aye. Amazing. All right, so the hiring process, we will continue to be busy in FY25. So we're going to be hiring the shared service coordinator, which is part-time, the part-time epi, the full-time nurse, and then Southborough and Northborough will be working on that town-funded RS position to free up Michael's time. So that will also be a priority of ours. So
Isabel,
I guess,
sorry, on the hiring. So the shared service coordinator per our IMA
Mhm.
is a joint appointment. So do you have an idea of how you're thinking you're going to do that?
so a joint appointment and meeting that we all need to, wasn't it like a unanimous decision?
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably recommend that there be 2 interviews. The first be with maybe a couple of people, and then the second interview be with everyone,
Yeah.
if that's okay.
Yeah. So are we okay to kind of identify who's going to, I mean, we can't have more than 2 people here because we don't want to create a quorum. And then maybe we bring in another stakeholder or 2 into that first round. I'm just throwing it out there based on like what we've done just as one town. I don't think I've ever done like a multiple town interview. But what people's thoughts are on that. I just want to make sure that this group is comfortable with it so that we don't hold up the process when you go to post this.
Yeah, so my first suggestion, our assistant town administrator is always in the interviews, so that would be one, and then I would like to be in it as their supervisor and as someone who is in the role. But I'm open to anything else.
I agree with that. I would also would love to be in it. But I do think that Northborough absolutely should have a stake in it. But again, it's everybody's pleasure. So
At some point, everyone will have to, well, everyone, all of the primary members will have to interview the person, right? So.
Yeah.
And we could even, depending on the applicants, we could, bring 2 to the, advisory committee or, whatever we decide. I guess one question as we're talking about this. Do you have a preference if I post the position as a full-time shared service coordinator epidemiologist position, or do you want me to post 2 part-time positions?
I personally think we I like blending them myself. I think you get more for your buck, you know, if you do
Okay.
blend them, and more time.
I agree.
They can alternate, you know, the need.
Totally. Okay, I'm so on board with that, and I obviously have experience, so I'm happy to train that person and help them. So whether they're lacking skills in one is fine, we'll get them.
You think, Isabella, like I know when we had talked about the epidemiology position, you're like, it would be perfect for someone in college.
Mhm.
Do you think that, I know you did both, but do you think like a lot of people would still be interested in being full-time, or would it be more appealing to people in college as a part-time position?
I mean, think no, college people probably couldn't do full-time, but that being said, I feel like there's a lot of new grads that could just take the full-time position and they'll need benefits.
Okay.
So I think that is a little bit more competitive if, you
Yeah.
know, a month goes
No,
by.
I agree, and I think most people are looking for benefits, but you know that I know at least the epi position, like you kind of had that unique opportunity, so I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that that's what you, in your experience with the epi role,
I
thought
think
was
we'll
best as well.
also, as Jen said, have someone like full-time, so, you know, whether they adapt their schedule or, you know, they're there when we need them, and also it helps with office space because we don't have that
Right.
much space for, you know, two staff members.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, cool. Thanks.
And I'm fine with not being included in the first round. And Taylor, assuming that you are fine with that too, I would just ask that if Jen and Isabella are going to be the representatives from this group, that we just when you're ready to, if we can have somebody from Southborough that is not part of the health department included, I think that would be just my one ask, but I'm fine with you two doing it from this group.
Thanks.
Sounds great. So I think Northborough usually does like 5 people, so I can iron that out with Diane, our assistant town administrator, once
Okay.
we post that job position. We're at full transparency, we're gonna be very busy hiring people because we're also trying to hire for our Health and Human Service Department. So we just posted a social worker position. But we're just gonna be pros at interviewing by the end of the month, hopefully. All right. So I'll keep you all updated as we go. I'll send out the job descriptions, the postings, and we'll, you know, really do that collaboratively so we can get as many people to find out about these positions. And we obviously use MMA, MHAB, and academic public health court, all those ones to get people. All right, any other questions about FY25 budget, work plan, hiring, IMA?
I think you did great.
Thank you.
It's
All
a
right.
lot, I know.
Jen, when you texted me yesterday about the IMA, I was like, my shoulders like instantly went down. So we have all the signatures, all 8.
Good.
All right, so upcoming events. So tomorrow is busy, and I apologize that all of these events are on the same date, but tomorrow we're hosting the municipal training hoarding training by ClearPath. So that's tomorrow at 9 a.m. You should have received the Zoom link. If not, I can send that to you. Feel free to forward that Zoom link to anyone, you know, in your municipality that would find it interesting. The registration was more just so I could understand the different people who were coming, but the link is open and we can max it out at 100 people. So right now we have 15. So feel free to send it, police, fire, anyone who you think may find it applicable. It'll be a great opportunity for us to meet Lynn and ClearPath and also get a better understanding of how we, in our current capacities, can help folks who are in that situation. Any questions about that one? No, okay. And then we have our opioid abatement strategic presentation by Amanda Decker. So I think most of you all know or have worked with Amanda Decker. She is a pleasure. Her organization is Bright Solutions. So that presentation is on Zoom tomorrow at 1:30. So she will be sharing data from our 2 other consultants who did focus groups, key informant interviews, and then also use data from, you know, youth surveys and other data, state available data sources. So that will actually be a webinar. So feel free again to, you know, share it with boards or town administration. It will be recorded as well. And I will be sharing that report after the meeting. So that Zoom link is also sent out in your email, but I'm going to send a flyer that Emily actually created for us. So feel free to send that. I hope it'll be a little bit about prevention and best practices, as well as a review of the data and then recommendations and ways to move forward.
Right.
So that is great. And that was funded through FY24 PHE grants too. So that was an awesome fast tracked process. So thank you all again for working on that with me. Those are all the updates I have. I know I have not stopped talking. So does anyone have any questions, updates?
Looking forward to find out what Amanda has to say tomorrow for sure. I think it's a relief to know we're moving in the direction. So
Yes, I agree. And honestly, you know, we did it pretty fast, but we did get stakeholders from police, fire, youth, recovery centers, those in recovery. So, you know, for a small region, we actually got a lot of voices. I know Jen and I were in a meeting with Hudson earlier this morning. And they are also working on the same process. So we, you know, we're in line with other regions who are doing this work. So I'm very proud of what we have. And, you know, when our town administration asks what we can offer and do, we have that report at our fingertips. All right.
do you know, did Westboro, I don't know how many contributed from Westboro.
I would have to check. I have a spreadsheet. But I know I think one of the recovery centers participated, but I'll double check. And Amanda will have that information too tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Of course.
And we're going to record that tomorrow so that people can
Yes.
do it
Yep.
after.
So it'll be that webinar, and then it will also be live streamed on our YouTube.
Thank you.
So people will also be able to ask questions if they're in attendance. All right. Well, our next meeting is in September. And also to be very transparent, as you can tell, we're very behind on minutes. So our shared service coordinator, who when they're hired are going to have a really fun time listening to our meetings. And honestly, it will be a great way for them to understand what we do and practice with meeting minutes. So I do apologize for that. I will try to work on it in the next couple weeks, but we've been just very busy. So September 12th, unless I need to meet with you all sooner, feel free to reach out at any time. Hopefully this year is smooth.
Hopefully we'll have everyone hired and going by then.
I hope so.
That's a good goal.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone want to
Bye.
adjourn?
Motion to adjourn our meeting?
All those in favor? Boylston?
Aye.
Northborough? Oh, aye. Sorry, that's me. Southborough.
Bye.
Westborough.
Aye.
All right. It was so nice seeing you all. Have a very lovely summer. If I don't, I'm sure you'll hear from me, but reach out if you need anything.
Thank
Great.
you.
Good to see everyone. Bye.